I've never known him not to be with a blonde. They've all been gorgeous.
I've made money, fortunes are made out of singing.
Rod Stewart is loved by cross-generations because he's just so good.
Come with us.
His voice is such a treasure.
Give me that stage, give me an audience. It's what I was put on this earth to do.
This is it then. This is the moment of truth. Hi all. Come along.
This is the nightly ritual of signing the soccer balls that I kick out to the crowd. That was the first one. Costumes?
We love you, Rod.
I warm up my voice, get changed, and enter the fray.
In a career that's lasted more than 40 years, Rod Stewart has laughed and sung his way to superstardom. A dyed-in-the-wool rock and roller with an uncanny ability to adapt to the music scene around him, Stewart has compiled an amazing body of work, selling over 130 million albums and grossing over $1 billion worldwide. Even at the right young age of 59, Rod Stewart is still thundering along, a larger-than-life music icon.
I love you, honey. I love you, honey. I love you, honey. I love you, honey.
People say, you get nervous when you go on?
Are we nervous? Of course we're fucking not.
It's just a wonderful anticipation of the 2 hours I'm going to go through. Come with us. Of singing, which is the most beautiful expression you can ever have. And people loving it.
This is it then. This is the moment of truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rod Stewart.
The singer, Rod Stewart. The amazing Rod Stewart.
Hugh, some guys have all the luck.
Rod might be lucky, but luck has had very little to do with his success. Through the years, Stewart's conquered every style of music: soul, rhythm and blues, rock and roll, disco, ballads, and even American standards, tweaking and reinventing both his act and his look along the way.
What have you been doing?
I've been drinking with the rest up the back.
Fun-loving, dripping with style,
Dying to show off me diamonds.
and loaded with sex appeal.
Martini.
Rod has always relished his reputation for enjoying the finer things in life: his cars, his clothes, and his houses.
You like the one in Palm Beach or the one in Los Angeles or our little flat in London or this lovely country house? Where's your favourite house to be in, Miss Penny Lancaster?
He loves to chat, hear great music, be around fun people, and of course he loves beautiful women.
Specifically, long-legged, famous blonde women, like Britt Eklund,
I've never known him not to be with a blonde, and they've all been gorgeous.
Alana Stewart,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Kelly Emberg,
Changes his old ladies like he changes old socks.
Rachel Hunter,
It's not true, is it?
and current flame, Penny Lancaster. It's all part of his image, that ultra-cool image.
Hi, boys.
He would walk on stage looking like $1 million.
He looked so extraordinary. His clothes, he was so sharp, the hair all sticking up like the rooster cut.
Hair. Nothing wrong with the hair. Mirror. Have a mirror, please.
He's always had fun, period, with what he does. Through all of the stardom, through all the bits and pieces, Rod the Mod was always very deluxe.
Well, come around this side.
No one can emulate Rod Stewart. There is only one Rod Stewart, literally. Flat out, Rod's a star.
It's late September and I really should be back at school. I know I keep you amused, but I feel I'm being used.
Rod's one of those people, it is there. He's gifted. Some people just don't have it. He has it.
But behind all that, the lavish lifestyle, the leggy ladies, the Lamborghinis, and all that lovely hair, lies the substance of an immensely talented, serious about his craft performer. With a raspy, yearning voice that has kept him at the top of the pops for more than 40 years.
How do I describe his voice?
Unique.
Soulful.
It's distinctive.
It's that rasp.
You hear that voice?
It's instantly recognizable.
It still gives me chills.
There's nothing else like it.
Outside another yellow moon. It's all down to the voice, mate, nothing else. I've just been gifted with a very expressive voice. To the street, I'm shining like a new dime. It gets the emotions through. The downtown trains are full.
The way he projects through his voice is his magic.
To climb out of that little world, you wave your hands and the sky.
Give me that stage, give me an audience. It's what I was put on this earth to do. It always feels right. There's no drug, no drink, nothing can give you that wonderful 2 hours that you're up there singing in front of people and making them have a big old smile on their face and sending them home happy.
You chose to be your only one. Oh, baby, can't you hear me now? Can't you hear me now? When I see you tonight on a downtown train. All my dreams fall like rain.
While I'm up there, I'm very vulnerable. Still a little 19-year-old going, oh, God, this all happened to me.
Tonight,
800-490.
Follow me, gentlemen. Let's go this way. Here's our beautiful lake over there. You sit down now beside the lake. We never sit by the bloody lake. Well, this is riveting stuff for you, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we move on? So the story goes. The day I was born was the 10th of January, 1945, just as the war was coming to a close. In North London, I was born in the top room of a 4-story house. I couldn't have asked for more. Wasn't much food on the table, but plenty of music and love.
May the good Lord be with you down every road you roll.
The golden road roamed by Rod Stewart began unexpectedly. He was a late-in-life gift to Bob and Elsie Stewart's tight-knit clan. The baby of the family, 8 years younger than his closest sibling.
There's 15 years difference between Rod and me. And we used to rib Dad that something went wrong in the planning department. And we often said, Dad, there's not many men alive that made a mistake like you that's been worth millions.
I've got fond childhood memories, only good ones. It was music and football and...
lots of parties.
My earliest musical influence was Al Jolson.
all together now.
Football's always been the glue in our family, especially between me and my dad. He was a quiet man. The only thing spark that we had between us was really football. So now we'll walk down to the pitch. My pride and joy. Ready, zoom, there. My dad played and my two brothers played, so shortly I came out of the womb, I started kicking. I was kicking to get out of the womb and continued kicking. Do you want to go down on it? It's close to being professional standard. All the drains, computerized watering system. And it cost me around about 35 to 40,000 quid a year to keep a pitch. Talk about bloody obsession. Great, isn't it? My dad wanted me to become professional. I went for an apprenticeship down at Brentford for a couple of weeks, but it was at the same time as I fell in love with music, so it didn't work out. I'm glad it didn't. Got the best of both worlds, and I still play football and I still sing. I want to play as long as I possibly can. I'm old enough now to Do exactly as I want.
But when Stewart was 15 years old, it wasn't that way. Although his legendary voice was in full bloom, Rod had not yet figured out how to make a living using it. So he made a choice that would ultimately change his life. He dropped soccer and to make money, took whatever odd jobs he could find.
You couldn't get a job to save your life if you had long hair in those days. So the only job I got was part-time digging graves in Highgate Cemetery.
I was down there to see him once or twice digging, but he wasn't really very good at it. You know, he's the sort of bloke that sort of like the sides will fall in or something like on top of him.
And then he went into wallpaper, but he was colourblind. And from then on, he just bummed around.
I went to Spain and did some busking. The whole idea of being a beatnik was to be extremely smelly and as antisocial as you possibly could.
He'd run out of money, come home, and God, he had rags on his back.
Mum and Dad just couldn't believe it, the state he was in. And they just ripped all his clothes off and
burnt my whole outfit. So I couldn't be a beatnik anymore, so then I became a mod. Overnight, Rod the Mod.
Rod the Mod planted himself firmly into the legendary Eel Pie Island music scene and quickly became an icon of the fashion-worshipping working-class London youth movement known as the Mods, with Rod being the modest of them all.
Eel Pie Island in the early 60s was, you know, where everybody went. It was the coolest place to be. And one of the most interesting bands was a band called Long John Borger and his Hoochie Coochie Men. I'd been over to Eel Pie Island and had a few drinks.
It was a particularly cold, foggy, typical British winter night.
And I was on the railway station going home, playing the harmonica. This voice from the other side says, "Young man."
Young man.
Young man.
What's your name? My name is Roderick David Stewart. I said, what are you doing on Tuesday evening?
He said, would you like to join my band? So I joined John's band as a second singer and harmonica player. So that was my start.
Rod immediately became a prince, a king, if you like.
When Rod walked down the King's Road, it was like, it's Rod Stewart. I just thought, he can't go wrong, this guy.
Where are we up to?
It was in 1966 when 21-year-old Rod Stewart met fellow London musician and kindred spirit Ron Wood and began a lifetime of laughs, friendship, and songwriting brilliance.
Rod came up to me in the Intrepid Fox, a pub in Wardour Street, London, and said, hello, face.
I was attracted by his haircut, which was identical to mine.
We knew there was something ingrained in there. I think it was a sense of humor, really.
And at that club, we met Jeff Beck. Jeff said, come on, let's get a band together, which is what we did.
We had an amazingly creative songwriting thing going, Rod and I.
So there was plenty of room for vocals.
Plinth. Yeah, I wrote that song. Dum, dum, dum. Dum, dum, dum. Water down the drain flows to the sea.
We were fresh. We all had these big haircuts and these gorgeous velvet pants, huge big crosses and our shirts undone, and we had a tremendous attitude. He was the first one that took Ronnie and I to the States.
We set a light to America by Bill Graham's 2 gigs, Fillmore East in New York and Fillmore West in San Fran.
I did suffer from a great deal of stage fright. In the first 2 numbers, I sang behind the amps. I was so nervous. It really was because here I am, a white guy from North London trying to sound like a black guy from the Mississippi.
Rod and I couldn't go on unless we had a port and brandy.
So Woody said, here, have a drink. When I heard the applause, you know, I thought, well, I'm going to have a bit of this. I actually started throwing the microphone stand around.
Rod's emerging eye-catching style and his close bond with Ronnie would eventually become bigger than the Jeff Beck group. It was time for both Wood and Stewart to move on to new places and eventually new faces.
That was the end of the Jeff Beck group. So once again, poor old Roddy's out of work.